15 years ago, you made your pay-per-view debut as a headliner against Arturo Gatti. Are there any similarities in your eyes to where Tank's brand is now to where you were entering the Gatti fight?
I believe in Tank. When Tank was very, very young, I told him someday he will be fighting on pay-per-view. And now we're here.
I've been doing it for so long. I started fighting when I was 8. I'm made for this. You know, I'm here for a reason.
I'm in the best shape of my life. As we know, we have a hard fight. I think the hardest fight in my career. There's a big opportunity for me to become a pay-per-view superstar, and that's what I want.
A couple years ago when I was saying I was going to be the next pay-per-view star, people were thinking that I was just talking. Now that it's really here, I'm on the road to be a superstar.
Last week is in the books. Now it's time to watch the tape and prepare for this week. And there's no better place to get in on all the action than at DraftKings.
To add to this week's excitement, DraftKings has a free shot at millions of dollars in total prizes up for grabs. If you haven't tried DraftKings yet, head to the App Store now. You don't want to miss it.
Draft your lineup and be a part of the game like you've never been before. Every pass, catch, and run means so much more with DraftKings.
Just pick your lineup, stay under the salary cap, and see how your team stacks up against the competition. If you haven't signed up yet, what are you waiting for? Get in the game right from your couch. Download the DraftKings app and use the code SMOKE. That's code SMOKE, only at DraftKings.
Eligibility restrictions apply. See DraftKings.com for more details. Welcome back, All the Smoke, Season 2. Jack, we back in LA, bro.
My brother, happy to be back in these seats.
What is this, velvet?
That's just that velvet.
We got the iced out velvet.
We got a multi-talented array of talents. A guest. I mean, rapper, poet, activist, actor.
Jack of all trades.
Man, can't say enough good things about our brother today. Common, man, welcome. Thank you for coming.
Peace,
my brother.
Peace, good
Great
brother.
to have
Peace
you.
to the God. Yes, sir.
You already know.
Good to see you, bro.
Yeah,
Let's jump into it. May 2020, you started a campaign, We Matter Too.
Yeah.
Can you tell us and the fans what that's about?
So that was really, I've been doing a lot of work with people that's incarcerated.
Mm-hmm.
And, when COVID hit, of course, they were forgotten. They've been forgotten in many ways before COVID.
Yeah.
So, what we did was really team up with different organizations that was already doing some of the work and just started figuring ways that we can highlight that, hey, some of these people that's been locked up for charges that we know they should be out on, should be getting released. We did a quick short film that was directed by this sister named Savannah. She did a dope job, just giving us a quick view of how people were feeling in there. Because, as we was talking before off camera, it's like, man, a lot of people that I met inside we just need to be heard. We want to be seen. We want to feel like we a person, a human being. So during this time, they really needed that. So that's why we decided to get into that We Matter Too.
I think what's important too, and not just in what you're doing, but overall, you partner with people that are already doing something in the space. I think often we think we need to reinvent the wheel when we don't. We can lend our platform, our voice, our likeness to groups that are doing great work that just need some magnification or a little bit of a push.
Bro, that's key. That's wisdom right there, because sometimes when you first thinking, like, a lot of people say, man, I want to do something. And I first say, man, find out what you care about. Like,
Right.
what are you passionate about? Like, what? And then along with that, it's like, man, there's people out there doing that. So find if you can team up with them. If you don't find that's the right connection.
Then.
Like point blank, I wouldn't have been able to do the work I've been doing in prisons if I didn't team up with ARC and Scott Butler, because he had already established and had been doing it for years.
You just enhance what he's doing.
Yeah, simple as that. And as you said, strength in the numbers of us just building
together.
Together. So that's an important thing for me to be reminded and remind everybody, man. It ain't like we always got to invent the wheel. It's just really taking your heart and soul and Stack, you've been in it too, doing some of the things you're gonna do with just your team. Some of it you go team up with other people that's doing it. Some people just may ask you to just show up for them, and you do that too. But it's it's all different ways. But it's people that's been doing this work
Long before us.
long before us.
Yes.
Yeah.
Everything is really recycled, but what you're doing is similar to what we out there doing in the streets. We giving the voiceless a voice.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? The narrative and the stigma of us been twisted and displayed as thugs and just wrong for so long. We finally have a chance to control our own narrative and speak our own truths, our own stories. And people that, like mothers that have their sons murdered for police justice and don't have a Stephen Jackson to speak up for them.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They need a voice, and you doing this the same way in the prison system with these. A lot of guys should definitely be out of jail, probably in jail for nothing.
Yeah.
Bullshit.
And nobody will never know because they don't have a voice. You know what I'm saying? So what you doing is similar to what we doing. I applaud you for that, man.
Yeah, give thanks. For me, it even, at a certain point, even just when I first started rhyming, I was like, okay, I want to just be dope. I want niggas to know who I am. Like,
Right.
that's just the essence of what, I love hip hop. But then eventually, just looking around and seeing where I grew up, getting to go to different cities, I was like, man, I got a chance to really be a voice for them too, through the music. And that's where the music started becoming that. And then eventually I was like, oh man, I gotta put my body in this. I gotta be there, for certain things, and start thinking of creative ways to actually see the change happening, seeing, changing people's lives.
Right.
Yeah, and one of the things that we did in California that I'm always, out of a lot of things I've done and accomplished, whatever, professionally, we've been able to get some bills passed that was for people who was serving LWOPs, life without parole, for juveniles who was serving LWOPs. They no longer can be sentenced to life without parole as a juvenile. And it took us some time. We was up in Sacramento. We had a concert up there where we, J. Cole performed with us, Andrew Day, let us see different artists. Man, they thought 10,000 people was gonna show. We had 30,000 people on the Capitol, and we rocked. And then the next day, we went in and sat down and met with legislators about hey, these is and we sat down with people who, it was Republicans, different people who wasn't necessarily always with that. But as you said, when we are the voices for those who don't get a chance to sit in those rooms, they're gonna respond. They're gonna respond.
They're gonna respond.
Jackson and Matt Barnes. They're gonna respond. They're gonna want to sit down and talk. And as long as we, know what we there for, and just speak from the heart, man. We took some people who was not thinking about prison reform and criminal justice reform. We took them to Folsom Prison, different government officials. Man, we had them. We had the former chief of staff to the last governor of California. God bless her soul. She passed, but she sat in a circle with all these men that were incarcerated, and we just sat, man, and talked and had, man, we said a prayer together. She heard their stories. Some of them brothers that deserved to be out ended up getting out because of that moment. And it's just man, we got to be the bridges and the avenues and the channels.
Well, I think that's huge because, they have to feel it, and they've never wanted to feel it before. And I think in 2020 is now is you have to step outside yourself because it's bigger than you, and at least try to put our shoes on. You ain't even got to walk a mile or a step. Just at least have the ability to have enough compassion to be okay, well, maybe this doesn't directly affect me, but it does directly affect another human being.
Yeah.
So let me see what this is about. And I think that's what 2020 has brought us. It's been a domino effect of negative things since Kobe passed, and then the pandemic, and then, George passed. But we were all still kind of looking for stuff, and we were forced to kind of see that America kind of finally reared its nasty head and its nasty history. And although some people still want to fight it and say there's not issues, enough people of other races have seen that there is a real issue here. Yeah. So now what is our plan moving forward? And it doesn't just stop with elections in a week. This is something that we have to carry the torch for, like everyone in the past has done for us. It's our turn now. Yeah. And we have to carry the torch, and November 3rd is not the finish line, it's really the start. Yeah, you know what I mean? Because it's just a continuous process, and I think in the past, people have gotten a past saying, oh, it's not for me, my voice isn't heard, that my vote doesn't count, and you're right, with this, now I think we have to take it as a responsibility as African Americans particularly to understand, what is at stake. Yeah. And everything we're fighting for now, we may not directly feel, but our kids are going to feel, and their kids are going to feel, so hopefully they don't have to go through this shit again.
Yeah, that's what, man. I mean, the elections is super important. And like you said, that's one aspect, but it's a necessary aspect because ultimately those policymakers are making decisions on the way we live. At the end of the day, y'all see the difference in between what's happening in Minnesota and what's happening in Kentucky. Like, and that's people in government positions who are making those decisions.
Yeah.
I went to Minnesota right after you, but I went there and just sat down with some community leaders and their governor and Congresswoman Ilhan Omar and it was a Congresswoman Ayanna Pressley, and I was like, man, these are government officials who really care. Like they had people organizing from the hood there that was like, you know, cats that was like your uncle that was doing it for a long time, but he had a chance to speak. And I was like, man, the fact, and the governors and the mayor of both cities of St. Paul and Minneapolis was sitting there listening. No government official said nothing. They just listened to the people. And I felt like you could see the difference between them and the people in Kentucky.
They making real change in Minnesota.
In Minnesota, that's what I'm saying. They making, and that to me is a direct thing of us saying, man, we gotta have elected officials who represent us, who are us. They think like us, and everything is not going. We're not going to agree with everything they do. Y'all don't agree with everything.
Right.
Y'all brothers, we brothers.
Right.
We ain't gonna agree on everything. But it's like, man, we see this. We got, like you said, the same vision.
Goal.
We got the same goal. We going to the same place. We want, and there's politicians out there that have that. And I think this election is like one of the most. They always say it's the most important, but it's very important because man, it's the step that we taking. People already in movement. We already moving towards what we saying, that goal. The election got to happen for certain things. I mean, the voting got to happen for certain things to keep moving in that direction. And we continue to hold them accountable when we vote for them. But then we do our community work.
Right.
Yes. Take care of each other while we doing that.
Take care of each other. Like I always be like, man, it ain't no one or the other. Why can't I
do both?
You know what I'm saying? What's gonna limit me from doing both?
But also what people have to realize, and we spoke about this earlier, is it's not just the federal vote. Like you said, it's the local and state vote that we're talking about. We directly we put people in place that are directly responsible for either putting a police chief in a spot. We vote for the mayor. We vote for the DA. These are all people that have a say or a hand some way into charging these cops.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's all stuff on that we can see direct turnaround for. So, we talk about voting and we got to wake up and we got to educate ourselves, but we're so far behind because we are never even supposed to get to this point. We're never supposed to have footing. We're never supposed to have a voice. So we can't tackle all this shit at once. To me, it's about bite-sized pieces. Like I said, start small, something you're passionate about. A Prop 16 that California's trying to pass, the prop that you passed with police reform, like there's stuff that you can directly see immediate change on when you vote and you see some kind of reward. And then to me, I think that's going to encourage you to be like, okay, well, let me learn about some more stuff. And then next time I'm going to vote for more and continue to educate ourselves because like I said, we were never meant to have a say anyway. And now that we actually do have a say, what are we trying to say?
Yeah, that's
what
real.
Are we trying to say?
Yeah, and then, it is intimidating. I went and voted yesterday. In Chicago. I was in Chicago and I voted, and I was looking, and I was like, I had to call and get information on some of the people, just point blank.
Absolutely.
It's a lot. And then some I just didn't know. So I'm like, okay, it's intimidating when you look at that ballot and you like, oh man, da da da. So I understand what you're saying as far as, man, take a step, vote for something that you believe in or certain people you know. You might not know everybody, but that's all right. And one of the things we doing, like with this organization, Urgency 2020, that we're doing and we've been doing for the past days is going to different cities and states, educating people on down the ticket. Like we went to South Carolina, we went to Florida, we went,
the swings.
We went, we went swing states, and then some stuff in Wisconsin and saying, hey y'all, these are some of the people, and hey, black people, brown people, we got to get out and vote. And like these are people that actually, care for you or
align with what you think,
and they align. And for me, I'm like, I ain't speaking up for nobody unless I done sat and
know it.
Like look them in their eyes and I know that, like, okay, we got something in alignment and we gonna do this. So like Jamie Harrison is one of the people in South Carolina that got a chance to change those things. And my thing is educating people, just like I needed to be educated. I ain't know our state's attorney in Chicago is a woman named Kim Fox, who obviously makes decisions on. She came from Cabrini Green. I didn't know about her till I was doing a documentary and I got to sit down and build with her. But from that point on, I started like seeing what she was doing in the community, and I support her. And it's like, little did I know that that's the woman that's making decisions on, like, if a police officer kills,
see?
you know, I point blank, I needed to learn that.
Like I said, we learn it and we find out because, like I said, there's stuff that we can align our likeness to for situations to shine light on people who really do care about us and really do have our best interests at heart. But most of the time, we don't know, so we don't feel like there's no one that represents us, so we don't vote.
Yeah, exactly.
And then that's what they count on. That's what the other stuff. They want us not to. They want us to be discouraged, like we get discouraged sometimes with due cause.
Yeah.
Because it's very discouraging. You know, voter suppression and all the fake ballots and fake information and fake boxes. I mean, it's tough. But like I said, I think now is the time that we got to stand and we have to unite. Like I think it's great that there's so many different. I don't recall another time where there are so many people with a platform, whether it's actors, musicians, athletes that are actually, you know, talking about voting and talking about registering to vote and how important it is to be a part and have your voice heard, even if we haven't done it in the past or you don't feel like it's going to work. It's never going to change if we don't.
Right.
So let's come together and figure out what we're going to do.
That's what you just said is like, I'll be like, man, it ain't like, even the first time I voted, I was like, man, even if this shit don't count, I just know I did it. I made an effort to try to do it.
Right.
You know, like, and it ain't hurt me to, like, the other day when I voted, it took 5 minutes. So I'm like, I took, you know, some time out, 5 minutes out of my day. I'm making this effort. I know it's gonna work. I know it's gonna count. And it is discouraging, because I've been a part of things where it's like, man, we going like,
ain't nothing happening.
Yeah, but man, I feel like if I fight for everything else, man. I fight for a lot of things, you know, like, and I kept working on my art form to get better as an MC. I keep working on my acting. I keep working on different things. I can keep pushing that and kicking that door down for
us, for the people.
Yeah, for the people.
You're part of the Showtime family with the show Shy. You know, you do a little executive producing and acting on it. How did that situation come about?
You know, Lena Waithe, who created the Shy, she from Chicago, and she one of my producing partners was like, man, this sister with a script is dope. You should check it out. So I eventually checked it out and was like, man, this is dope. And I was geeked to that it was a show about Chicago, and you know, and she was being creative. It was like, it wasn't like a documentary, but she was, you know.
Shit is dope.
You mess with that, Joe? Thanks.
What?
Bro.
That shit is dope.
Yo, thank you, man. I really appreciate it. And man, I ain't gonna lie, one of the proudest things I'm a part of, because, you know, first of all, she doing her thing and telling the story, but we got so many, like, Chicago people working on the set.
Yeah.
Right.
So it's like to go home and be like, man, the makeup artist, I mean, the person that do hair used to do my mother's hair growing up.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And
Yeah.
like, the locations manager, the black woman from Chicago, actors from, you know, it's great to be able to go home.
But the authenticity is that much stronger, you know, when you involve the community. The community feels like they have a hand in, like, one of the biggest shows on television.
Point
you know
blank,
what I mean? Like, that's my city right there.
Circulate
like, I'm
money,
working, right?
circulate money
Keep
back
it
in
the
the community.
Let the dollar circulate.
What else are you working on right now in the creative space, acting space? Because I know you're big, and I'm a fan. Like, you were one of the guys that had, like, low key crossed over, and some people, like, the actor Common, like, the rapper the Common that actually acts too. You know what I mean? Like, you've been able to make that transition. So what else are you working on in this space?
Well, I'm working on a new film. Actually, I'm leaving to go out in a couple of days to go film this movie called Alice. It's an independent movie that this woman wrote that named Kristen Verlinden, and Keke Palmer is starring in it too. But it's I really like it's a really dope piece that I'm excited about that. And also working on producing a couple TV shows, and I'll be acting in. And creatively, I also, you know, recorded a new album that be coming out.
Speak on it.
October 30th. It's called A Beautiful Revolution, Part 1. And the single just dropped yesterday with Black Thought called Say Peace. So, I got inspired on that. I ain't never made an album, like, in about a month and a half. It always take a long time. But I was like, man, I think after being still when the pandemic first hit, and just kind of just getting a chance to reflect on life and where I am, who I am, what I want, looking at all what's going on with people, having some time to read, just be still, I wasn't trying to write and do nothing at that point. But then eventually, as I started getting into the creative like energy, I was like, man, I just was feeling it. So we cooked up a man, I got a piece, man. I can't wait to it's out on the 30th, so check it.
Check it out. I mean, Jack, you just dropped your piece and same energy. You know, that was one thing Jack said, that he felt like he's learned so much in this last 6 to 8 months than he's ever learned. You know what I mean? And he took it out and put it out in his music as well. So I'm sure as, you know, to be able, as an artist, to be able to put your feelings out on the paper and then share them with the world is always a blessing.
You always been able to do that though. I think as a culture, we expect that from you. We expect that music that's gonna take us there. That's gonna make us feel what's going on in today's. Yeah, it's gonna take us there. We expect that from you.
Yeah, man. Man, what's going on is like exactly like that's what I'm on. Like meaning, I be wanting that music to feel like Marvin Gaye or Bob Marley or Stevie Wonder or KRS-One. I also feel like it's a duty when you do music that's conscious or like aware. It still got to be dope. Like that's the music that I love listening to and grew up. It ain't only just conscious music, but when it is conscious music, it's dope.
Still has
the beat's dope. Everything dope.
The beat got to be dope, and you got to style on it and give them that. But the stack, you know, probably when you get more information, like you said, you had something to say on this project because, you know, I mean. You rhyme, so you like, man, you probably like, yo, I experienced all this different stuff.
It was easier this time because I was in the middle of it. Like this was my real pain. I wasn't just rapping for the hell of it. Like what I was saying this time was stuff that I really been through, that I really seen, that I really want to say because I can't get it out no other way.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. And this was totally different than anything I've ever dropped.
Man, I ain't even know that rap would be that for me, but that's what it has been. Like certain things you can't get out, like. In no other way but just as an artist, especially when you do have that outlet or you discover that this is, man, something I do. This is what I want to do. And it's always been like that for me. So if I see other people's pain or I'm experiencing my pain, I always been like, I'm going to speak to it. But my goal is to speak to it and put a charge to it, like get them uplifted and get them out of the darkness. But I'm going to speak on the darkness if it's there. But it's like, man, I like giving solutions too. Cause I ain't gonna just say, man, we in the hole and not be like, yo, let me try to help you get out of this hole. If I can, you know, I'm gonna tell you how I got out of this hole. Hopefully it can help you.
Well, that's what most people realize too, whether you're putting in your music or you're acting or just speaking out it publicly, most of the time we don't, you know, it's not, we know that us sharing our ups and downs, or mostly our downs, are going to inspire someone else. Because look at me, Common went through this shit, Jack went through this shit, Matt went through this shit, LeBron went through this shit, so I can make it. You know what I mean? If we can affect one mind or encourage one person, that is, you know, that's at the end of the day, that's a win. You know what I mean? But when you're able to encourage millions upon millions of people just by being real and spilling your truth, that's where the real reward comes from.
Nah, you know, I was like early on in my career, I was writing a song. I was writing a song about abortion, and this was like early on, and I was like some shit I had been through with the girl I was with, and I just wrote it because it was like I was reading these different poems, poetry, and I was like, man, they be saying whatever they feel. So I was kind of like, I'm just gonna go there with it. I'm gonna actually just tell this story, and I did, and I put the record. It was a record that Lauryn Hill actually sang on, and we. You know, the record came out, we shot a video and everything, and I remember performing in a concert, and then this dude came up to me afterwards and was like, yo, man, that record, man, it's called Retrospectful. He was like, that record, man, made me decide to have my child, because I was going through the same things and this and that. I was like, yo, I was just telling my story. I didn't know that this thing could really, like, shift people's lives like that. That was one of them moments where you like, dang, okay, this is really meaningful and I could do something with this.
Yes. Growing up in Chicago, basketball has been a part of your life. Most people don't know you were.
I wanted to be y'all niggas. I wanted to be y'all. You know, y'all know.
Most people didn't know you were a ball boy for the Bulls in the 80s. Is that before MJ got there? Was there any crossover with MJ?
Yeah, I was right there when MJ came. I started a year before.
How old were you at this time?
I was like 11 or 12.
Okay.
Yeah. See, my father played in the ABA for a couple of years. So
rest in peace.
Yeah, God bless his soul. Thank you, brother. And Rod Thorne was one of his teammates. So Rod Thorne kind of was general manager for the Bulls. Got me. He said, "Yo, you write a letter, you get the job. You know, pretty much get the job." So I wrote a letter. I got the job. I was there when Mike first came. Wow. I used to have, I used to get, y'all used to give away gym shoes after a few games. I used to get gym shoes. I'd be selling them, giving them to my teachers. I had a pair of Air Jordans, like some of the first Jordans, and he signed them, and I gave them to my father. When my father started wearing them, he was wearing them to my shows and stuff. I'm like, yo, Pops, you gotta put them Jones away.
Yeah, right? They meant to be worn, right?
These ain't meant to be worn.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was an incredible experience. I was just geeked to be around all that and be there when Mike first came. And I remember Mike was playing Houdini, and he had a radio playing Houdini when he first came, like one of the first exhibition games. And they was like, nah, you can't play that music. Then after that first game, man, he could play whatever he wanted. Them niggas was like,
really?
Yeah.
Mike, that's crazy.
Mike, they was like, oh, we good.
Yeah,
we good. Yeah.
Play whatever you want.
Yeah, for real.
Any cool one-on-one interaction you had with them at a young age you can recall?
Just, shooting around with them. That's more. Well, one thing happened where I was like, these kids asked me to get an autograph, and I was like, okay, I'll do it for $5. So I went and took it down to Mike. I said, yo, can you get this autograph? And he told me to sign it. He's like, oh, you sign it. Go ahead and sign it. So I signed it and took it up to the kids. And the kid looked and was like, man, this ain't Michael, because I spelled Michael wrong and shit. And he was like, man, what the hell? But I mean, so obviously I didn't get my $5. But nah, man, I mean, even later, as I said, I had hoop dreams. Y'all know that. But I saw Mike. I played in one of them celebrity games. I thought I did good. And Mike saw me and was like, man, you better stick to rapping and acting. I was like, man, this cat.
Yeah, MJ classic.
Got a chance to play in the Hoop movie, though.
Yeah, that was a good movie.
That was Queen Latifah, right? What was that called?
Shout out to Queen.
It was called Just Right. Yeah,
Just
shout
Right,
out to Queen, man.
She's dope.
Yo, she is super
dope.
dope. She one of my favorite people to collaborate with, people I met just overall.
I love her.
Hey, so normally this is at the end of the show, but since we talking about her and her, help her get up. We need her on the show.
Yeah, I love her.
Put a word in for her.
I love her.
Yeah,
I'm a big fan of Queen.
Oh man, we could. Yeah, Queen is
dope.
She's just down to earth.
Yeah,
and she's dope in every aspect. We talking about like somebody that's super dope acting. She can sing,
rap,
rhyme,
right.
She cold, man.
Hell yeah, and a good person.
And she beautiful.
She beautiful, bro.
Yeah.
Like she doing that movie. I was like, yo. That was my chance to really live out the hoop dreams because I was like playing the NBA.
Yeah. So, the injury had to do the injury and all.
Yeah, do the injury and all. Somebody called me just yesterday like, yo, you did the injury for real. I was like, all right, yeah, it did. I just wanted to give my all because that was my first leading role too. And it was like kind of living two dreams in one. Okay, I get to play this NBA player, and it's my first leading role. So, man, I gave it my all. We did our best. I'm glad. To this day, people come up to me like, yo, that Just Right movie is kids and women. And be like, yo, that Just Right movie, I mess with that. Yeah.
That's what's up, man.
Yeah.
Obviously, growing up in Chicago, tons of basketball talent comes through there. And then you also were shaped through basketball and then your creativity with your music and your art. Anyone in particular shaped you or inspired you in either of those lanes?
Yeah, for me, Isaiah Thomas was like a real inspiration.
Zeke.
Yeah, Zeke. Being from Chicago, like he was the first point guard that was like, I was like, I saw like Kenny Patterson and cats like that, but Isaiah was from Chicago, so it was like, different. And he was different. He was a killer. So I loved his game. Man, that's somebody who really, I would say, and then I ain't gonna lie, like a lot of y'all, we get inspired by y'all because, man, y'all made it to the highest level. I heard Kenny Smith say something that I was like, damn. He said, man, only like 5,000 people or some number like
Can
that
ever say they played the NBA.
Played in the NBA court. And you know how many millions
people tried
to make it. Like, so that's like,
it's crazy, yeah.
To be chosen out of like, oh man,
so people don't understand. It's crazy. I mean, especially today with the disrespect, everyone is crazy because they don't have to be held accountable for your words. But to be the last man on the bench, like he's a very good player. He go around and bust anybody's ass in any kind of gym, but people don't understand because you don't get a lot of time on an NBA team, you have a better chance of being struck by lightning than making it to the NBA. And people don't understand. Like the world wants to be in the NBA. You know what I mean? You keep it real. Like that's the one sport globally that everyone wants to play. Everyone wants to be Kobe, Mike, LeBron. that's the one sport. And
That's
to
the
make
one
it and have
sport.
some longevity in it, like you really did something if you have some longevity in a game like
Yeah,
that.
so respect to both of y'all brothers. 'Cause, I mean,
appreciate
that's
that.
like, and to reach that highest level and stay there and win championships too, but just even to get there on that court is like, I mean, still to this day, you see like from actors to rappers to everybody wanted, like you said, worldwide want to do it.
Everybody want to hoop.
Everybody want to hoop, man.
Straight
I heard J. Cole going for his. Like,
Yeah, I heard that too.
Master P got his
Why
shit.
not?
Yeah, why not?
Why not, man?
J.
I ain't
Cole,
mad
fuck
at
it.
the, I ain't mad at the brother.
Master P had his run. Let J. Cole see if he can get it. If you could do
Yeah.
it, you could do it.
Yeah,
you know
you
what I
can do
mean?
it, you can do it.
That don't matter. Ain't no labels. When do you feel like you found your footing as an artist?
You know what? I feel like I find my footing. I found it first when I was like going into this album called Resurrection, because that was 90, 93, 94, because I released the album and it didn't get the response I thought. Because, when I first was releasing the music, I was thinking, okay, people release an album, they got a video, they made it. But I released it and people weren't responding to it. So it made me have to do a lot of soul searching, and just be like, man, you got to get better. This ain't about the label. This ain't about the beats. It ain't about what radio ain't. This about, you. Like, are you built for this? Like, and man, I just started, like, as musicians say, going in the shed. I was freestyling, rhyming. I was reading different books, start listening to John Coltrane and different things that I wasn't up on that would give me, like, open my mind space up. I remember writing this song, I Used to Love Her, and, that song eventually went on and became something where they made a movie about it and people did different things about it because I was talking about hip-hop as a woman. And that's where I felt like I first hit myself, like, all right, this album, man, I'm an artist. Like, I know, and I don't know everything yet, but I know where I want to go with it. And I was starting to get my own voice. And that's when it came. And then, to tell the truth, like, as an artist, you kind of, and as a man too, a human being, you kind of you find things about yourself, and then you fall off and go this way. It's a journey, like, because when you asked that question, I was like, well, I found myself then, but then I was seeking other things, and things ain't aligned. I released another album, and it might not connect, but then I go release another one, and it did. So it's like you find your footing, and I think the most important thing I found was to be truthful with who and where I am at the time.
Right.
Like, and then, sometimes people gonna be rocking with it. Sometimes they not. But it's like, that's what being an artist is about. It ain't always gonna be like, it ain't always hit at the time where the whole world is celebrating it. And then sometimes it may. So, but I just decided to keep putting my intention in there and putting with the love and putting my truth in it. And, God willing, everything works out the way it does.
Well, I mean, look at your longevity. I mean, 25 plus years in the game. What's changed since the first time you were, started using your pen to you're about to drop an album tomorrow? What has changed in that time from your point of view in your music?
Man, in my music, I think I definitely become more confident. Like, after doing it more times and even like doing other things, like acting has actually helped me, like, being more open as a human being has helped me. And then, the experiences I've had make me be like, man, it's all right. Like, I ain't afraid to fall.
Right.
But I envision myself always excelling and flying. So I don't, and the way that shows up in my music is that I don't, like, it used to take me a year to do an album, bro. Like, cause I was looking for stuff to write about too. But now it's like, if I catch that inspiration, I ain't thinking twice. And as this album is coming out, this is an album I started like the end of August, and now it's coming out. And it's like, I didn't second guess myself. I said, this is what I'm supposed to feel. This is what I'm feeling at the moment, and I'm gonna allow that to be. I ain't gonna think twice. I know what's dope, so I'm gonna stay on what's dope and go do that. So I think that's helped. And then, I've been exposed to a lot more things, and I'm a South Side dude just growing up, what I knew on the South Side, but then eventually, you get to travel the world, you get to expose to different people, you watch different films, foods, all of it, all the information. One of my good friends that's a musician was like, man, every time you digesting new things, new information, you feeding your, like, musical like palette in a way.
Absolutely. Moving to New York, what did that do to your creativity?
Man, that was that catapulted my creativity because Chicago gave me a strong foundation. Man, ain't no other place I want to be than from Chicago. And as I built on that foundation, what New York was like, all these different artists from different places that were there coming.
Melting pot.
Yeah, it was a melting pot. So I was around artists that were fashion designers, that were musicians, that were like chefs as artists, and we all were like feeding each other. I was in a melting pot, and I would be able to go to work. Like, it was jam sessions going on at 1 in the morning, so I could go work on the craft there. I could go see some Gordon Parks exhibit, which I ended up using for my album cover for Like Water for Chocolate, because my homie over here, this sister that make fashion, told me about it. So I was around a lot of just dope art, and New York is one of them places where it like helps you to be free. Like you could walk down the street, wear whatever the hell you want, and they ain't gonna look twice at you. So I think I was in one of those stages where I was discovering another thing about, you know, me and what I wanted to express. So I was able to do it in a free space and not have to deal with all my homies like, Rosh, what you doing, man? That's terrible. Like, what are you doing? What you wear?
Right.
So, you know, that's part of like growing as a person. Is
like you said, confidence.
Yeah.
In yourself, no matter what other people, that confidence in yourself is a motherfucker.
Yeah,
like for us, it's, you know, knowing that the coach has confidence in us.
Yeah.
You know, but you're doing something that all the confidence has to come from you.
Yeah.
Like, you got to believe in yourself first. Last week is in the books. Now it's time to watch the tape and prepare for this week. And there's no better place to get in on all the action than at DraftKings.
To add to this week's excitement, DraftKings has a free shot at millions of dollars in total prizes up for grabs. If you haven't tried DraftKings yet, head to the App Store now. You don't want to miss it.
Draft your lineup and be a part of the game like you've never been before. Every pass, catch, and run means so much more with DraftKings.
Just pick your lineup, stay under the salary cap, and see how your team stacks up against the competition. I know I'm picking that running back and quarterback.
Who you got?
Brady put on.
He did.
He put on, and Henry's an animal right now. But you know, Bell looked over.
Le'Veon Bell.
Yeah, he popped up
That's
in
like
a good
cheat
position.
code, man. That's like KD going to the Warriors.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean? I like what DeAndre Hopkins is doing out there with the young quarterback Kyler Murray in Arizona. Man, it's been a fun season.
If you haven't signed up yet, what are you waiting for? Get in the game right from your couch. Download the DraftKings app and use the code SMOKE. That's code SMOKE, only at DraftKings.
Eligibility restrictions apply. See DraftKings.com for more details.
TV taught me how to dream.
All right, Jack. So
Talk to me.
we got a new sponsor coming on board, Manscaped. And they have a couple requests.
Okay.
They want you to shave it all.
I do that anyway.
Okay. So they want you to start using their products.
I do that anyway.
Okay. So you've already been a fan before they came aboard?
They gave us a care package last week.
Okay.
I'm already using them. This is the realest show. You get real answers.
Yeah. You know, to be honest with you, too, I shaved everything, too, and I feel bad 'cause I left all my ball hairs inside the towel.
That's
right
so
there,
unnecessary.
And I didn't even, fan it out or nothing.
One thing about me, bro, I'm glad they came on. I'm glad we can use their products. Let me tell you why. Because I shave every time I get a haircut anyway. You know what I mean? So I get a haircut probably once a week. So I make sure I'm clean. So this is going to be beneficial for me. Yeah. Right in my alley.
So I love all the products they have. I mean, this is not just your average shave. They got ball toner, ball wipes, ball rejuvenators. They got your balls. They take care of your balls.
Yeah, man. I think Manscaped just created a ball spa.
Man, for real. I can't wait to dip my balls in that spa.
I can use some of them ball wipes.
I know a lot of motherfuckers that go right from the gym to the club and not shower. So this is for you nasty
Yeah, all you dirty boys with the musty ball boys.
Yeah, get you some ball wipes, some ball toner.
Yeah. They got ball powder too, so you can dry them things off.
Well, they got everything you need for your men's grooming experience.
Check them out at manscaped.com/allthesmoke.
When y'all hit that spot where you know, like, okay, I can actually go to the league.
McDonald's game. Kobe Bryant, Tim Thomas, Jermaine O'Neal. I led the game in scoring.
Yeah.
That's when I knew. That's when I knew.
Should have got the MVP.
Should have got the MVP.
Crazy how they
but
did
Kobe
you.
said I got it. He thought I got it, so I won it in my mind.
Yeah.
That's all that matters. That's all that matters. For me, it was just, you know, in college. You know, I was kind of a late bloomer. I was more of a football player than basketball player. So in college is kind of where I found my ground. And even when, similar to Jack, even when we first got drafted, we didn't make it. He went somewhere. I had to go play in the G League. Our shit was a grind.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I think it made me appreciate it more, and that's why I played the way I played, because, you know, almost for the first handful of years of my career, every game was an audition, not only for my team, but other teams around the league. So it was either going to be me or you.
Yeah.
That's how I looked at it.
Yeah.
And that's how, you know, I got my reputation. But, you know, that's what I had to do to survive in this space. And then, you know, I turned it into 15 years. But there's shit you got to do to get on, or it's going to be someone else.
Yeah.
Straight up.
Yeah, 15 years. Wow.
2003, you win your first Grammy with Erykah Badu for Love of My Life. What was that experience like?
Love of my life.
That shit still go, right? It still go.
Yo.
Jam right there, yo.
Yeah, thanks, man. Yo, that was amazing, man, because a Grammy was something I didn't know.
I love her too. God damn, bro.
she
You
cold,
just work
bro.
with everybody. I love her too.
Hey, he was
cold.
saying, we
She
gonna talk to you about
Texas.
some, we gonna talk to you about some shit off camera, but he was saying some shit right before you pull up. Like, do you realize? I'm like, yeah, we gonna talk about that later. If you know, you know. Word to you. Yeah, straight up.
Yes, sir. And man, like that was an incredible time and night, like to win a Grammy, like the first Grammy, and it was, you know, like I said, Love of My Life was really based on I Used to Love Her, but we did the song for Brown Sugar, which was also based on I Used to Love Her. So it was kind of like incredible that it all went full circle. And then with Erykah, you know, at the time that was my lady, so it was like, man, we doing this.
But that
like,
record was everything, though. At the time of that record, that was everything,
yo,
bro.
man, and I felt so good to be able to do that record with her, because she obviously is a dope ass like singer, but she a hip hop type chick too, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And we had Africa Bambaataa.
She got bars.
She got bars, man. She the freestyler
She got
too,
bars.
Yo. She from Texas, you know.
Yeah.
Yo. But you know, we had Africa Bambaataa, who's the father of hip hop. He was in the video. Or Kool Herc. We had Kool Herc in there, who's the father of hip hop in there. And man, it was just like, you know, that night, man, we had the best jam session ever. Like, it was Prince was there, like Jill Scott, like it was all like Floetry, the girl, Marsha and them, Raphael Sadiq, you know, and Questlove and the Roots and James Poison. These cats was playing.
Just
playing
be a
the
fly on the wall, just to be in that.
they was-
Let me be a fly smoking a joint on the wall and just enjoy that night.
That's
shit
that's
was
the
dope.
jam
was
session.
incredible. That was the
Right.
jam session, bro. Like
Ooh.
that joint turned out incredible. So that one, that Grammy, I was like, okay, I left it at my mother's house. My mother's like, I want
Special one.
Yeah, it's a
The
special.
first one.
Yeah.
You experienced commercial success in 2005 with your album B. The grind to get there and to finally kind of be able to be crossed over to that. But 06 is like your whole album is recognized by the committee. What was that crossover like? And is that when you feel like you made it?
That was a you know, I ain't gonna front. I don't never feel like, man, it's done. Like I made it. Like I do sit there now. I take on moments where I'm like, man, let me appreciate this moment.
Your hard work.
Yeah,
Got to,
I
man.
appreciate
Because too
this.
often we don't.
Man,
Too often we don't.
I do that now. Like, I'm grateful to be here. This is what y'all brothers building. I would have never known watching the games. I'm gonna be sitting here building with y'all. Right. So I take in the moment, but I don't celebrate too long. Like I just be like, okay,
What's next?
I still got new things that I want to accomplish and create. That moment, I definitely was like, more than anything, what I was taking in was like, cause I just come off of being, like, people was like, man, Common doing this crazy. Like I did an album that was out there. It was called Electric Circus, and it was like real different. So it was getting ridiculed. And I ain't getting no critical acclaim or nothing. It was just like Cass was writing me off. So it was like a rebirth to do B. So not only did I feel like, oh man, I'm arriving in a new way, but also was like, that was a moment in my life where I started having to really practice like speaking things into existence and really believing what I'm saying. Like, no matter if people talking shit or whatever, I gotta just be like, believing who I am. And I started seeing it coming to fruition at that time. So B was that moment for me to be like, hey man, you got power in your mind. You got like, your word means something. So do that. And I became more confident in the way that, you know, I was around Ye and different cats that was like, they was more like out there with this, like, look, I'm dope, blah, blah, blah. And you know, and it made me see like, yo, you gotta claim what you are.
Straight up.
Like, you know, I would do it on the mic, but then it's like, even at times when we was doing listening sessions, you can't just sit back and be like bashful about it. Now, I ain't never tried to do it like Ye did it or this dude, but I still needed to be like
Your way.
Yo, my way. Like, yo, this is dope. Check it out, y'all. Like,
Hell
you
yeah.
know. So I kind of got into that's what B ended up being for me.
That's what's up.
Mm-hmm.
Speaking of Kanye, you guys won a Grammy together. Someone from Chicago. What was that experience like working with him and the type of relationship you guys have?
Yeah, Ye is see, I known Ye since he was like 19 years old, because he was No ID, who produced my first albums, and just that's my brother from day
Shout out No ID.
No ID, you know.
He's solid.
Yeah, that's my guy. He brought Kanye around because Kanye was like, they moms teach together, they knew each other. So Kanye was this young producer who would come around, and he was hungry. But at the time, his beats they was good, but they wasn't like better than No ID. So I was like, yo, I got these No ID beats. But we still would build. We would build. He come rhyme. So we was always cool. But in 2003, when I was starting to work on the other stuff, I was like, yo, Ye, let's get on some beats. He was like, all right, cool, because I just did Get Him High for his album. And he was like, cool. He started cooking up beats, and it was just I felt like I grew a lot working with Ye, because he had a vision of, he loved hip-hop and he knew the hip-hop that I knew, but he also had a vision of how to make songs sound big where everybody can hear it, but it still got that soul. And he was able to take, my rhymes, and we were able to create songs. Like he was one of the producers who would be like, nah, you should re-rap that, or nah, don't change that, or nah, we're gonna get this hook like this. And even like this song called The Corners, as soon as I laid the vocals, he was like, okay, the video gonna look like this. We're gonna be in Chicago to smoke. So he was a visionary. Yeah, a visionary.
Yeah, visionary.
So it was working with him was like that, and and it was good to, like, I was on his label, I was on Good Music, so it was good to be supporting my brother,
right.
And he was getting something out of it too.
Right.
So
who are some of the people you looked up to in your space?
I'll go start from some of the earlier. For me, it was like Rakim and KRS-One, and Big Daddy Kane, EPMD. Then cats in my age group, and then NWA, Ice Cube, and then cats in my age group became like the Nas, Biggies, and Black Moon and cats like that. And now, I feel like it's still like new artists, whether it's Kendrick, that's doing stuff. That's the span, I would say, from KRS to Kendrick is kind of like what it ended up being. But, I ain't gonna lie, I've been listening to a lot of 90s hip hop lately, just getting inspired.
Music was different back then.
I don't think we knew, like, we didn't have like as much things going on, so it was like we put our heart and soul into the hip hop, into these rhymes, into the beats, and the way the drums sound, and the way the scratches were. And it's something prolific about artists nowadays. They put out a lot of music, but and some of it is great, and then sometimes it don't stick with you. Like, and what I was listening to with some of the 90s hip hop was like, man, this music, like I'm bringing up 90s hip hop because when the pandemic hit, I kind of went straight to what I needed to hear. Like, I wasn't trying to be like, let me try to be, please somebody else. I'm playing in my house, I'm playing this 90s hip hop along with, I listen to jazz music, I listen to gospel music. But that being said, 90s hip hop was feeding me for what I was doing, working out and these things. And it made me see the essence of what I loved about it was, man, Cass was doing different things and experimenting with things and being flavorful. And everybody kind of was having their own sound overall.
Own
like
sound.
Whether Ghetto Boys, like, they was who they were. Outkast is who they were. Souls of Mischief. Like, these is
shit, do or die.
Do or die.
Everybody
Come on,
have
man.
their sound, man.
Come on, do or die. Twisted, like, yo. I love that.
Early 2000s, you got the acting bug. How'd that come about?
Yeah, my A&R, who was working at the label I was on MCA. She said, man, I got an acting coach that I think you should work with, because she knew I wanted to get into acting. I always loved films.
He want to get into acting too.
Yeah.
Pull me in. Hey, if you got something for him, slide
pull me in, bro.
Jack, we got it.
Pull me in.
Jack, I'm gonna pull you in, bro. I'm gonna put you through.
Yeah.
Yo, we gonna be working.
That's what
we
he
gotta
need.
work on the craft.
Yeah,
Jamie Foxx
ready,
said the same thing. That's what Jack want.
I'm ready.
Jack, we work on the craft.
Yeah,
man.
you got to.
Yeah, so that's what I ended up doing. I worked on the craft. I'm like, I ain't trying to be a rapper actor. I want to be. I'm an actor.
Yeah,
too.
right. I told you some people like. look at you as an actor.
Yeah.
Not a rapper that act like an actor.
Yeah.
And that's credit to you.
Dude, I ain't gonna lie. Sometimes I be like, damn, it made me feel good because it's,
No disrespect to the music, but at the same time, like you've not mastered, but you're a legitimate actor as well.
Yeah, and I mean, I've definitely had like I've did this thing, and one of the comments was like, I ain't know the actor Common raps, and I was like,
don't water me down, don't because I'm multi-talented. Fuck out of here.
Exactly. But that being said, man, I really took the craft serious and just started studying, and I was going to classes, anytime in between tour, I just was going to classes and working on it. Then I started going on auditions. Wasn't doing good, but still working at it, just working at the craft. Kept going to class. Just one script or sides, sides are like what you get when you're about to audition. They only give you a piece of a scene. These sides I really loved, and I got to read the script. It was for the movie Smoking Aces.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, I love this. I got to go.
That shit was
get better. So I went in, and man, and that was the first callback I got. And then I was geeked. And I remember continuing to work on it, work on the scenes while I was on tour. I flew back and got in that room for my second audition, and I felt great with the audition. And then, man, I remember getting a call like 3 weeks later. I was at a music conference with Kanye. I was supposed to go on tour with Ye, and I was like, the tour was booked and everything. And I got the call from the director, Joe Carnahan, that I got the role. And it was like bittersweet in a way because I was about to have to go tell Ye, I can't do this tour.
But he understood.
He understood. My brother understood, man.
He
he understood. And it was just, that was from that point on, man. It was just like even roles where I didn't have a lot to do. It was like, and it's one of the things, Jack, that like at the end of the day, some of it is just looking and getting roles so you can get the experience of just being on the set.
It's just like getting shots up in the gym. Getting shots up.
Simple as that.
Yeah.
Simple as that. Because then eventually, I really saw my acting improve and grow when I did a TV show that was called Hell on Wheels. It was like a Western. Man, I was working so consistently, I was getting shots up, man.
Yeah.
At that point, I started getting in front of the camera and I could start trying things instead of just being like, okay, I got these lines down. And I was doing all the other work, but sometimes you can forget to be as creative as you could be in front of the camera. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because you like
thinking about so many other stuff.
about other stuff, and like you're thinking about how to do it right. When right is just being in the moment, being present, and letting it flow too. Because if you prepare, it's like what y'all would probably feel in the game. It's like if you've been putting up shots. When you get in the game, it's gonna be natural.
You
once
gotta
you
trust the process. Yeah, you put in the work.
Yeah.
Was it awkward to see yourself on TV acting the first couple times you've seen it, or on a big screen? Like, what was that experience?
Like an adult fight scene, something
like
that.
That shit was like the first time, man. I was so geeked because all my homies came. And my mother was there. I even took my daughter. She was too young to probably see Smoking Aces, but I was like, yo, you gotta see it. You
come on, man.
It just was a joy. I ain't gonna lie. I was watching every little moment. But to be honest, I felt good about what I did in that movie. So after I got over myself just like being critical, I was like, man, this is good, man. I'm in the movie. And then eventually, like some of the fight scenes like I get to do in John Wick, sometimes I'm like, damn, we did all that? Like we did, cause it's like, it's a lot of work. It's
that John Wick boy.
Yeah.
Shit's
I love getting
I know you love that one, man.
Yeah, I love getting to do that one, cause man, preparation, we go hard, man, and it's like, man, Keanu Reeves just he the top level when it comes to that.
He's someone I feel like is he's been great. I think he gets overlooked. He's been a great actor for a long time.
He's been great and done great movies and and he's been committed to it. And for me, it reminded me of just like what an athlete would do because he wanted to work as hard as I like working hard to get to where I get to and because then it gives me like I know that I'm ready. So. And the crazy part with John Wick, though, is the director, Chad, I love him. He's incredible. He did all the John Wicks, him and his partner. But you'll work on the whole scene and blah, blah, like you'll work for weeks, months, really, working the choreography to a fight scene. And, man, he'll change it right there. When it's time to shoot, he'll be like, no, let's try to. And that is a lot to try to pick up, try to adjust. But because we did all that preparation, they study, you kind of feel confident, okay, I'm gonna make it happen. You just trust it. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, I love working on that. And action and drama movies are some of my favorite things to do.
You the movie had to be good to make three of the same movie three times.
Yeah.
It had to be good.
Exactly.
It had to be good. The same motherfucker three times.
They said.
But the beginning of the third one, man, about 2 million people died as soon as the movie come on, dog. That shit was fire, dog.
Yo, they be killing it, man.
You got a chance to, one of my all-time favorite movies with a deep, fun cast, you got a chance to work on American Gangster with Denzel.
sir.
What was that like?
Man, that was incredible. That was one of the ones where I was like, man, I tried out for one role, and they said, nah, we think you too young for that role, so try for this other one. And I tried out, and then they was like, nah. And I ended up making another tape and just took it to the casting director. And she was like, man, your passion for this is, we just go, you know,
find
they
a spot
cast me.
for you,
So they cast me as one of the brothers, which is funny because some people don't know, but in that movie, I was playing T.I.'s father, which was,
Yeah.
which is kind of crazy because I'm about 8 years older than him, but hey, we was acting, so we made it work. But I just was geeked to be in the movie because it was Denzel Washington and Ruby Dee, the great Ruby Dee, God bless her soul, was in there, and Russell Crowe, and Ridley Scott directing, and the story was just so dope. When I read that story, and all the dope actors from Idris Elba to Chiwetel Ejiofor, I was like, man, this is an incredible cast.
RZA.
The RZA. The RZA was dope in that joint too, man.
Yeah.
So, yeah, man, that's one of my favorite movies I ever got to do. And that was one of the ones, man, literally I only had like a few lines, but
still,
I was like,
it's a classic though, too.
Yeah,
that's a classic for sure.
Yeah.
You launched your own entertainment company, Think Common, after doing under a couple other labels. What was that experience like, being able to finally launch your own label?
You know, early on, my friends was like, man, you need to start a label. And I wanted to be able to provide the channel for people to get out there, but I didn't feel like I had the team. And one thing I always want to do, because, man, when you're starting a label, you're dealing with people's dreams, man. Like, when somebody come up and say, man, I got this music, that's their dream, and I know that feeling. So I was like, once I had the right team around, we ended up starting Think Common. And, you know, now it's spread out to, like, I got something called Stardust Films, which is film and TV production company, and Stardust Kids, which is, like, really a collective where we put musicians, but it's also fashion designers and photographers, just giving them platforms.
Opportunities.
Yeah,
right.
so it's really been good because I feel like, oh, man, now I got the team in place and the infrastructure to really be able to go out and give people opportunities and not play with their dream.
Right. Give them a real opportunity, yeah. Selma, 2014, you got a chance to co-star, play James Bevel. What was it like in being able to play that movie and that kind of impact, considering where we are in 2020 now?
Selma was, for me, that was like a life-changing moment for me because it was the first time I got on a movie set, and the movie was directed by Ava DuVernay, a black woman, and everybody on the set, from the director of photography, Bradford Young, who's super dope, to like our costume designer, Ruth Carter, who ended up winning a Oscar. She cold. Like, the makeup was black men, black women. Like, the lighting so it was like, yo, this can happen,
real,
man.
right.
Like, this is dope. And then, you know, Oprah came in and she was a producer on it and was just cool with everybody. We had like good times at like just even at her place that she had down there. And I was like, man, I never felt this on a movie, like getting to work and see all these, you know, different black people working. And I really started to learn what we could do with the films. And then another thing that hit me was we got to sit down and talk with Ambassador Andrew Young, who was one of Dr. King's, you know, he's one of the men in the civil rights movement doing a lot of work. And he sat down and he was like, man, what are you willing to die for? Live for that. He was like, man, we was willing to die for freedom and justice, so we live for it every day. And man, that really struck me because I was like, man, what am I really willing to die for and what am I living for? It put the spark in me to be like, I got to do more when we talk about activism, that's when I was like, oh, I gotta do more. I gotta figure out ways, and learning that these people were strategizing and coming up using their creativity to come up with ways so that we can vote, so that we can sit in the area we need to sit in, so that our schools, working to get our schools better. So all that work that they did, I just felt I started learning more and feeling like that was, as you said, the torch. It's our turn.
Passed.
Yeah.
Coming from Chicago, when you hear the word icon and your name next to it, how does that make you feel?
Man, that's a great feeling, man. It's like incredible. I'm gonna embrace it. Before at times you'd be like, I'm gonna embrace that and say, man, I'm so grateful to be from Chicago and to be called that. And I hope that like other shorties in Chicago and wherever you're from can feel inspired by that and know that, at first I didn't see myself as being that, but you at some point will, and as you see it, you will be it. But, from the beginning, it was just a dream and just something that I saw myself doing something in the world. And with that being said, I just hope that any youngins could feel like, man, I don't know what I want to do yet, but I'm going to do something. And, if icon go besides your name, then embrace that and use it for, for the good of all.
Before we leave Selma, you and John Legend created Glory, the original song that, I highly acclaimed, critically acclaimed, won some awards for it. How'd that come about?
After doing the movie, Selma, like I said, it affected me in different ways, so I was really inspired. And they were looking for a song they was looking for music for the movie, but they hadn't come to me or whatever. So one day, man, that's why I say, man, listen to God, listen to yourself, man. When you get that gut feeling,
go with it.
Cause I had a gut feeling. I was just like, I was talking to my manager, who was my manager at the time, and one of my best friends, Derek D, and we had been saying, man, you should do this and do that. I said, man, let me just call John. I'm about to call John Legend. I hung up the phone with him and called John and just explained to him everything. Like, look, I was part of this movie, Selma. They ain't expecting a song from us, but let's create something.
They need something.
This what it is. He was like, man, I'm in London. I'm on tour. I won't be back in the States for another month, 2 months, but I'll work on something. I'm off on Wednesday. I remember he's like, I'm off on Wednesday. I said, cool. I hung up the phone, and as soon as I hung up, I texted him some titles, because I just had some title. I was getting sparked. And I texted him, and Glory was the third title I texted him. So he took that title. He said he saw that title, and he just went to the piano and started recording that hook in the chords. And when he sent that to me, I was like, oh man, we got. I was like, oh, it's time to go to work. We got one. We got one. Yeah. My daughter said, I walked out of that booth because she was at the studio, and I told her, I said, yo, I'm gonna get an Oscar for this one. I said, yo, we gonna get an Oscar for this. Yeah. And she said, she was looking at me like, oh, he think he gonna get an Oscar. And then she said she was watching it on TV that night, the night of the Oscars, and was like, damn, he said he was gonna get an Oscar.
Yeah, that's a big record. You gotta put that energy out there, man.
That's a big record.
Yeah.
Congratulations. Man of many hats, activism is something you're very passionate about. Where do we go from here with our society? How do we get more representation that looks like us? What are some things you want to give to your audience, our audience, and people who are leaning on us for information?
Man, first of all, one of the things I do want to say, activism is key. Like, it's key. And a lot of activism does start with first self-activism, too.
Right.
Meaning, as much work as you do for others, you still going to have to do work on yourself, too. It's like you work them simultaneously. So, like, getting knowledge of self, taking care of self is going to be important so you could be the best activist you can be.
Right.
That being said, it's identifying things. Both of you all have been activists. Like, you got thrown into it even more because of what happened this year.
Mm-hmm.
When the situation is called upon, you got to just
embrace it
and just go do it. And know that you're not going to have all the answers. I ain't got all the answers. We ain't got all the answers. But we seekers, and we find what we find, and we deliver. And like the things that we learn, and we take those lessons and move forward with them. I think it's important to identify the things that you want to see change, from the smallest thing in your neighborhood. One lady when I was doing a visual in Baltimore, was like, man, I just want the streets to be clean, like to pick up trash. It's a simple thing, but it's a pride thing. She wanted that. You can make sure somebody in your neighborhood, a political person or an organization, is doing that. Or if you want to see the educational system be changed, figure out ways that you can partner with people to open up schools. We've been able to open up a school in Chicago called AIM, Art in Motion. And it's less than 2 miles from my crib where I grew up. We got our kids meditating. Our kids are like, they learning about every different aspect of things that I never got introduced to. And the point is, from the biggest thing, you don't have to be Dr. King, you don't have to be an athlete, you don't have to be an artist to make the change we're talking about.
Absolutely.
And it's just really identifying what you're passionate about. And if you can, every day, make a step towards it. You can, so do it every day. Just make a step towards it. And then, that being said, as we spoke earlier, team up with people who can teach you, and you grow with them and build with them. I think those are some of the things that are key to us moving forward.
So you're on a 5-state tour right now. Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, so we've been going to different swing states that's dealing with the election, and also just states that really affect the election right now, and just building with the people, encouraging people to vote, supporting the people who have been working at the polls for a long time. We actually performing for them, performing the new music for them, just music, just giving them love. And we also meeting with some of the candidates. So if I'm gonna say, hey, support Jamie Harrison.
Like you said, you gotta look him in the eye.
I gotta look him in the eye and say, look, these are some of the things I'm looking for. Like from the people of the community. They telling me this is what they need. You gonna deliver that for me? And you know, like where we at, and then, you know, just be able to look someone in their eyes. So we've been, and I've been going in with different candidates like Jamie Harrison and going around and meeting with the people and going into their communities and just saying, hey, y'all, let's vote. There's people here that care about you. So it's been a powerful experience to go to these different places and just connect with the people, especially during a time where everything has been, you know, we ain't been able to be on the grounds with a lot of people. But I think it's necessary sometimes, you know, as much as we can have influence on social media and different things, it is great to be able to be face to face with.
Well, that's what something Jack spoke on, you know, through all his endeavors he's still doing, just came from somewhere, but looking at these people face to face and being in the trenches with them and how important and what difference it's made on the way Jack looks at things.
Yeah, Jack, that's a whole nother thing, huh?
You just find out how many people really need, how bad their situation is. You know what I mean? And how many people need people like us to speak up for them. I never would have known, you know, how many people and how many people that need our voice. You know, but actually being out there, touching these people, talking to them and hear their stories and seeing their face when they see us there, knowing that we care about them, knowing somebody care, it's a totally different feeling, bro.
It changes. Well, people always people want to say like, well, you don't live in the hood no more. You don't have you have money. Why does this bother you? And what people don't understand is we were the lucky ones that made it out. You know what I mean? It could have been one incident, one thing in school, one incident that we could have been these statistics. We could have been these same people that never made it out. You know, so like you guys are both saying, it's almost our duty to be the voices for the people that weren't fortunate enough to make it out, but still show them that there's some brighter days coming.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah, and I was taught as a youngster, never jump ship and end up in the same boat.
Yeah, that's wisdom. yeah.
I might want to end the show on that shit.
That's it right there. That's it.
Shit.
Yeah.
All right, we're almost to the end. Quick hitters. Your Mount Rushmore of artists.
Yeah, I want to hear this.
Is it all hip-hop artists or just artists?
Is your mountain?
All right, my mountain. I'm putting Stevie Wonder in there. I'm putting Nas in there. I put John Coltrane in there. I put Aretha Franklin in there. How many people I could put on Mount Rushmore?
Give you 2 more. That's 4.
Yeah.
It's a big mountain.
I'm going to put Earth, Wind, and Fire.
Okay.
And then I'm going to put Lauryn Hill. That's my Mount Rushmore.
Hey, I
want to hear y'all Mount Rushmore.
I want to speak on that Stevie line because I said a line on my album. I said people don't understand how talented Stevie is and how deep he had to be. He blind, but he seen a ribbon in the sky. Just think how deep that is, how deep he had to be.
Yeah.
Talk to him, Jack. Who's on your Mount Rushmore?
My hip-hop period or just artist period?
Artist, music.
Oh, I'm going with Michael Jackson.
I miss Mike. That's one of my favorites.
I'm going
Prince
with
too. Oh man, hold on, man.
I'm gonna give y'all what 3 or 4.
Yeah.
I'm gonna give you 4. I'm going Michael Jackson, probably Al Green, Whitney Houston, and it's gonna be corny, but he one of my favorites, Michael McDonald. I'm sorry.
I like
your
that.
mouth.
I like Michael McDonald, dog. I like Michael McDonald. That's one of my old school favorites,
Yeah,
right?
we
I'm
gotta honor
sorry,
that.
my bad.
We gotta honor that.
That On My
I
Own with
admit
him and
that.
Patti LaBelle,
Yeah,
that's a
we gotta
classic,
honor
man.
that.
That's a classic.
We gotta
I
honor
got
that.
Michael Jackson. I got Tupac, Raphael Sadiq. I'm a huge fan
Oh,
of
yeah.
Raphael
See,
Sadiq.
we can't miss.
Raphael Sadiq, and probably Jay-Z.
Yeah, you can't miss. Like, we all can't miss.
Yeah, I mean, we all put some names out there,
miss.
but just, it's always been so dope because we've been athletes, but it's just like, you know, he's made the crossover. Like, the world doesn't move without music.
Yeah.
At
I
all.
mean, you can always put you can remember a time in your life when you hear a song like shit. I remember what I was doing when I was 12 in '92 when I heard this shit.
Yes, sir.
You know what I mean? Music is so inspirational, and I admire people who have been able to have longevity and do it because, like I said, it's the soundtrack to our life.
Yeah,
you know what I
brother.
mean?
I
Real
mean-
shit. Through everything you go through, music is what gets you through, helps you through anything. You know, that's why I was a big fan of Tupac, because Tupac could have you ready to fuck somebody up, but he had me ready to fuck somebody up. And then he also talked about, you know, Dear Mama and Brenda's Got a Baby and the Black Panther. You know, he has a song for every emotion, and that's why I love music so much.
Yeah, music. I really like began to appreciate it even more. I mean, I appreciated it throughout my whole life because, like you said, it's moments in my life where music has been it. That's it. But it's the soundtrack. But then, you know, during this time, it was like, man, I was, you know, whether it was just hopping on, like hearing DJs spinning, whether it's D-Nice or Questlove, and just seeing people, like how we was coming together through music, or just people yearning to hear music, and even me playing music at home, I was like, man, music is, man, it's essential, it's divine, brother.
It's a must.
Yeah, so I feel you on that.
It's a crazy feeling when you're around your people and somebody play that song, all you hear is, hey! Everybody get to do it.
Yeah.
That's a wonderful feeling, man. That is a wonderful
That's
feeling.
all we gotta do is make that noise.
Yeah,
we there.
It's going down.
So we hear you got a basketball trend. You still work on your game. You're starting 5, 4 other people with you, past or present.
My starting 5?
With you in it.
Yeah. Well, wait. Let me be clear about basketball. I had a trainer. I used a trainer when I was working for I was playing for the celebrity game. I was trying to, cause we was in Chicago, and I was like, I gotta show up.
I got to.
I got MVP, by the way.
He did that.
Hell yeah. It paid off. You ain't got to give no disclaimer. Fuck it. You was working on your game.
I was working on my
game. Man, I was coming home. I had to win MVP.
I put my time in.
What you mean?
Hey, but man, I'm going Mike, LeBron, Magic, and
need a big man.
And Shaq, man. I'm gonna go with Shaq because Shaq
tough.
is dominant, man. Like Shaq, whew.
Most dominating player ever.
I gotta hear from y'all. I know we gotta go, but I gotta hear from you.
Go ahead.
My all-time starting 5.
You gotta put yourself
no,
in
I don't
it.
want to put myself
he
in
did
it.
that. He did it though.
He didn't play though.
But still, you got to put yourself in it.
I'm gonna be the 6th man then.
Okay.
So I got
I'm starting. Fuck that.
Yeah, that's
Kobe,
right.
Mike, LeBron, Magic, and Shaq.
All right. I'm gonna go small lineup.
I didn't give you much shooting. I just gave you a bunch of dogs.
Okay,
We're gonna beat the shit out of you.
Bron at the 1, Kobe at the 2, me at the 3. No, I'm gonna go big. Shaq and Tim Duncan. That's my lineup.
You're not gonna be able to stay with our lineup though.
Yeah, I just.
We got a lot going on.
I'm really over there spotting up. I'm in the corner. Yeah, I'm
loaded already, ready to rock it down.
Loaded.
Hey, who was the player that made y'all like most that you can remember made you most mad? Like, yo, I hate playing against this mother.
Well, it wasn't a hate. It was I knew that this was gonna be the night where I could possibly get 40 put on me, or it was gonna be a night where I had to work the hardest. And it was
Bring
Kobe.
your lunchbox.
Kobe. By far.
Was
you're gonna work the hardest that night. Before any 2 guard, every night I played with, and me and him guarded everybody. From Dirk Nowitzki to small guards, Chris Paul, all of them. Nobody makes you work harder than Kobe.
Hell no.
What? Was it just
He relentless.
His skill
Every
set,
play.
and it don't matter. And
he go and get the ball every play
he's
too.
He's got that I don't give a fuck gene. So Kobe told me one time, he's like, I'll miss 30 straight shots and take the 31st shot like the other first 30 didn't matter. Like that's a cold motherfucker.
And he making them know.
Yeah.
That's a cold, bro.
Yeah, nah, he was relentless, bro.
Kobe was a monster. Yeah, I mean, because like Jack said, our job every night outside of spot up and shooting, and was guarding the best player on every team. So that's D-Wade one night, Carmelo one night, KD one night, Ginobili one night, CP3 one night, Klay Thompson one night.
Didn't
you
matter.
name them.
Yeah.
Kobe one night.
Hey, then some nights we got to go out
Power
there.
forward,
Chris
man.
Bosh.
Yeah.
Me and him got to guard all these people.
Carlos Boozer.
Yeah, all that.
Big, strong. We down there 220, guarding 260, 270.
Yeah,
back when they could really put the body on
pounds.
Hey, did the refs ever talk shit back to y'all?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yes, sir. Especially me.
Yeah.
They was talking shit?
Oh, my God.
Jack be cussing them all out like a man. That We Believe team, I used to have to I used to be the peacemaker. And if you know anything about me being a peacemaker, shit has gone way south.
That didn't work.
Yeah.
He was actually my shrink.
Crazy. Yeah. Like, come on. Like,
Sad to say Matt was my shrink.
Because we be on the same shit, but that's how often, I was like, shit, we both can't be off the rocker then. So I got to be some sort of sense, because if we both off the rocker, with this whole motherfucking arena might get burnt down.
We had a game we both got kicked out.
Probably.
Yeah, we had a game.
Probably smoked as soon as we got on the bus.
Yeah.
It is what it is.
You know how we do.
5 dinner guests, dead or alive.
5 dinner guests.
This is always one of the best questions.
I know. I love this. This is amazing. Malcolm X.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Solid.
Yeah, I probably would go with Marvin Gaye too. Michael Jackson, man. I always wondered what Michael
Huge
Jackson.
fan of Mike. I just pick his spine.
Yeah, I would love to pick Mike's mind. I'm gonna say Frederick Douglass, and I'm saying Frederick Douglass because he lived in a time where I'd be like, what the hell? How is this going down? So is that 4 or 5?
That's 4.
That's 4.
4. I'm gonna say Nina Simone because I love Nina Simone. So that would be mine.
A good book you'd recommend considering the current climate of America?
You know what? I think the book I would suggest is a book called The Prophet. It's by Khalil Gibran. It's short, but it's written well, man. And it's and man, I always go to it because it's like it just reminds you about philosophies in life and not getting too caught up in the stuff. And I feel like you could be from any walk of life and read The Prophet. And so I'm gonna say The Prophet, Khalil Gibran. Yeah.
Khalil Gibran.
Yeah.
I read a lot too.
Yeah.
So.
What's the book y'all got for me?
I'm halfway through Message to a Black Man.
Man,
I'm halfway through that one.
Man.
The New Jim Crow.
Oh man.
And I've been sitting on it for a minute. I get hot and cold with it, but I picked it back up just recently. So
yeah, that was one of the things that I got to sit down with Michelle Alexander, and that's what honestly was the thing that I read The New Jim Crow. But then sitting down with her, she was like showing me how the prison system, because I was like, man, I'm trying to do this work in Chicago, all the violence, trying to stop the violence. She was like, the prison system is tied into that. Because, the more we put people incarcerated and then they come back and they ain't got no, and it's money too. But just them coming back to society, if they ain't been really rehabilitated or healed, is the word I like to use, then
they're bound to come back.
They're bound to come back with
deprogrammed.
more.
They gotta be deprogrammed.
Yeah, deprogrammed. Simple as that. So yeah, I love that, The New Jim Crow too. Message to the Black Man. I was reading that. Yo, man, that book got a lot of knowledge in it. And I was reading How to Eat to Live too, because that book was helping me get learn like where I need to be eating. Yeah, exactly.
Last question, and we kind of touched on it earlier. A guest you would like to see on our show?
Yeah, well, we said Queen Latifah, so I like to see Nas on y'all show.
Man,
him.
And tell him when he say that. Go ahead, finish it.
No, you could tell him. That's your part.
I'll tell him then. When you say that, you got to help us get it.
Right,
get him on here.
I'm there.
The guy Nas, and we spoke before. Actually, a while back, probably like 6-7 years ago. I busted a rhyme for him on his radio station that we both was on, and he was impressed.
Yeah.
But I never met him in person. But we want to have Nas on the show for sure. So if you can help us,
Jungle,
make
it happen.
Jungle,
I'm gonna hit you up. We need
the God Nas.
I got God on here, yo.
Nas.
Yes.
His new album is
crazy.
Yes.
Ultra Black.
Man,
Ultra Black. That joint is cold.
Hit boy.
The God.
Yeah.
Hit boy, killed it. Yeah. Well, that's a wrap, man. Thank you, Common, for your time. Good luck with everything. Hey, we really want to link with you with the prison system stuff you're doing, man. So if we can get online, we're gonna exchange information.
Shoot a show from there.
Shoot a show from one of these prisons or something, and let these guys tell their story.
And I got another acting coach.
Yeah.
Come on, let's go. I'm here, bro.
I mean, between him and Jamie Foxx, bro, you can't lose.
I know. They both got my back.
We there.
That's a wrap. All the smoke. Thank you to Common again, my brother Jack. Great show. You can find this on Showtime Basketball, YouTube,
And
iHeart.
all the 10 billion sponsors we got now.
You can find us Showtime Basketball, YouTube, and the iHeart family with Black Effects. We'll see y'all next time.
Peace.
15 years ago, you made your pay-per-view debut as a headliner against Arturo Gatti. Are there any similarities in your eyes to where Tank's brand is now to where you were entering the Gatti fight?
I believe in Tank. When Tank was very, very young, I told him someday he will be fighting on pay-per-view. And now we're here.
I've been doing it for so long. I started fighting when I was 8. I'm made for this. I'm here for a reason.
I'm in the best shape of my life. As we know, we have a hard fight. I think the hardest fight in my career. There's a big opportunity for me to become a pay-per-view superstar, and that's what I want.
A couple of years ago when I was saying I was going to be the next pay-per-view star, people were thinking that I was just talking. Now that it's really here, I'm on the road to be a superstar.
TV taught me how to dream. It was a life jacket. I don't think you can be an artist and not touch people.